Chapter 29. Escaping Hataaza Darad. Frantically, Zahn ran up to the wall in search for his mother. There were people of all colors, all shapes, and all sizes. They appeared to be from all over the galaxy, but most of them looked dead or near death. Why bring them all here? Zahn ran despite the fact that he knew he should be quiet. He ran past hundreds of people. Where was she? He kept running. She had to be here. She had to. The mad dash seemed never-ending. Until something made him stop in his tracks. It wasn't his mother. Kneeling on the ground in front of one of the bodies was a massive figure, clothed in cold, gray armor. When it turned around, his first instinct was to run as fast as he could, but he controlled himself. Zahn knew that there was no way that the Hataaza could see him now that he was inside the cavern and shielded from the pulsar's radiation. At least, that's what Oonak had said. Now that it had turned around and was standing tall, Zahn realized it was nearly twice his height. Its face was grotesque with tiny pupils and huge curling lips which revealed blood-stained teeth. It growled and moved toward him. Zahn wondered if he should doubt the reliability of the cloaking field for a moment and slowly stepped aside to see if the beast would react. It didn't. Instead, it growled past him and kept heading down the cavern, and Zahn breathed a sigh of great relief. He didn't want to face one of those in combat, even with his resonator. Curious, he walked over to where it had been and examined the floor. The creature had been standing in front of what appeared to be an old man. The man was completely naked, embedded solidly into the rusty wall. Beside him, protruding from the wall, was a narrow tube with a few drops of red liquid inside of it. Zahn noticed that there were some red drops on the ground as well. Terrified at what his mother must have been going through during her years of captivity, he continued his frantic search, and just behind him he caught a glimpse of Asha and Oonak. They were straining to keep up with him. He ran again. He could sense her near now and ran faster than he ever had before. Soon he felt as though he had seen 1,000 faces, and outside of the cavern he heard the howl of a sinister wind. He was nearly out of breath now, and then at the end of the cavern. He saw her. He ran over and examined her body. Over her mouth was an air mask connected to a small tube that led into the wall. She was quite frail and her light brown hair was very short. Here was his mother at last. Here was Darshana. He felt her pulse. She was alive, but only barely. Oonak rushed over with his scanner and Asha was right behind him. She is stable but extremely weak, Oonak said. Asha, do you have the air mask ready? Asha carefully removed the air mask that was over Darshana's mouth and placed her air mask over her mouth instead. As she did this, Oonak held his resonator close to the rocky wall where it met her arm, the resonator making a high-pitched hum as he squeezed the trigger. After a few seconds, some rock broke away and he continued doing this systematically around her entire body, but Zahn felt overwhelmed. After so many years, finally seeing his mother again filled him with a storm of different emotions, but he knew that she wasn't truly rescued until they got her out alive. Along the other side of her body, he used his resonator to help Oonak loosen the rock around her flesh. As they did this, Asha injected a green liquid into her arm and uttered strange words that Zahn had never heard before. At first, Zahn felt alarmed, but Asha explained that the council had taught her what to do at this moment. He didn't question her again, and instead of panicking, Zahn asked his guides for help. When the last of the stone was loosed from her body, she tumbled forward out of the rocky alcove. Zahn was in front of her when she fell and caught her in his arms. She felt as limp as a dead fish, and he struggled to hold back tears. "It's all right, Mom. I've got you now. I've got you now." Zahn made sure the air mask was fastened around her mouth securely and carried her toward the exit. Far below them, they felt the ground shake violently. "We need to leave here as soon as possible," Oonak said over the comm. Outside, they noticed that it was dusk and smoke was oozing from the top of the mountain. They weren't on a mountain at all. For the first time, Zahn realized the full gravity of the situation. They had been inside of an active volcano. In a mad dash, they raced back down the path. As they ran, Zahn noticed that the pulsar was dipping below the horizon. And this gave him some hope. At least it wouldn't disrupt their cloak anymore. Finally, they'd be able to walk around outside without being seen. When they reached the gate cavern again, Zahn made a quick glance around the corner and noticed two important details had changed. The cavern was now faintly illuminated by crystals along the ceiling, and three of the massive beasts, the same type that he had seen earlier, were now standing around the gate. "Zahn," Oonak yelled, "you're visible. Move." Oonak pulled him out of the way of the opening. "What?" Zahn said. "I thought the pulsar set below the horizon. It's night now. We should be okay, right?" "It's not that, Zahn," Asha said. "I think cloaking both you and your mother is putting a strain on your cloaking chip." "Well, I haven't come this far to be stopped now. Don't worry, I'll be more careful." "No, take mine," Oonak said. "You need it more than I." "No, Oonak. I'm not letting you sacrifice your safety for mine. I'll be fine. We just need to cause a diversion." The ground shook violently again, and their suits indicated that a wave of hot air was passing over them. "There's no time to argue, Zahn. The volcano is unstable, a fact that we can use to our advantage." Oonak pulled his cloaking chip out of its slot on his wrist, took Zahn's hand, and rammed it into the empty slot on his right hand. Now that Zahn had one cloaking chip plugged into each glove of his suit, his cloaking field stabilized. But Oonak was now completely unprotected. Behind him, Zahn saw a wave of lava pouring down the path toward them. "Take your mother and be safe." Oonak said and ran inside. From inside the cavern, Zahn heard a trio of deathly roars that sent a chill up his spine. A few seconds later, Oonak darted out of the cavern and ran down the path. Two of the horrible beasts followed him. No, Oonak, but there was no response over the comm. Zahn started to run after him, but Asha grabbed his arm. Zahn, he's giving us an opportunity, Asha said. Let's use it while it lasts. Cautiously, Asha looked around the corner to see the status of the third beast. He was attentive, looking around in all directions. The lava behind them drew nearer. Okay, Asha said, I know you're carrying Darshana, but I need you to watch my back as we go in. We can't take too long either. That lava is headed this way. Can you hold her and shoot at the same time? Yeah, I think so. Don't think. Can you or can't you? I can. Good. Now even though that beast isn't going to be able to see us, once we fire it's going to have a good idea of where we are, so we'll have to keep moving. If it has explosives, we'll have to move even faster, so I want to get as close to the gate as possible before we fire. Got it. Got it. Like perfect spies, Asha and Zahn stayed close to the wall, following the perimeter of the room in total silence. Once they were a few meters away from the gate platform, they waited until the Hataaza turned its back on them, if only for a moment. Once he did, Asha fired her resonator at the back of its head, twice, yet the beast was even stronger than she anticipated and the creature's skin barely even melted. Instead, it turned around and roared, its eyes flashing wild colors at them. It couldn't see them, but it fired haphazardly toward their direction. Stalactites fell all around them, and outside Zahn noticed a wave of lava flowing past the cavern entrance, trapping them. In the chaos, Zahn vaporized a falling stalactite in midair and jumped away just in time to avoid the resulting debris. He took a breath and carried his still unconscious mother over to a larger stalagmite for cover. Across from him, Asha was using a stalagmite as cover as well. Through all of this, she still managed to keep the Jagral safe within its spherical shield as she held it under her arm. To Zahn's surprise, it seemed strangely calm. In the distance, they could hear the beast talking as it approached them. Both of you are cowards and fools, the beast said, but your death shall be glorious. Okay, new plan, Asha said quietly over the comm. Put your mother beside that stalagmite for a moment, and when our friend gets over here, we both fire directly into its eyes. Got it. I'm still surprised that thing can talk, but that sounds good. Which eye? You think you're that good of a shot? Doesn't matter. Left eye, I'll take right. The ground rumbled once more. Their suits warned them that the air would soon be too hot for anyone directly exposed to the outside, and Zahn thought of his mother. Just behind him, he heard another roar. His heart was beating fast now. This was it. This was the moment of truth. Now, he whispered. Now. Together they stood up and fired. In seconds, the beast's eyes smoldered. And it covered them as it wailed in pain. Unseen demons, you shall die, the beast roared, firing toward them in random directions. When Zahn saw the beast pause to rub his eyes again, he picked up Darshana and sprinted toward the gate. While he did this, Asha remained where she was and fired at the beast's feet. If the beast couldn't walk, it couldn't be too much trouble. After dodging a few of its clumsy shots, Asha managed to slice open one of the beast's feet. For glory. The beast shouted as it charged toward her, but it stumbled and crashed to the ground. Slowly, it stood back up and Asha fired at its eyes again. Now it was blind and Zahn almost had pity on it. The beast felt its way along the walls. After a few moments, it finally found the exit to the cavern and stumbled out. Great job, Asha, Zahn said. There's only one problem. Oonak isn't responding. I've been trying to contact him and wait. What does this small light on the comm mean? He must have contacted us during the firefight. It's a recorded message. Touch the light, Zahn did, and Oonak's voice filled their helmets. Zahn, Oonak began, this may not be easy for you, but you must leave without me. I've just placed several small explosives into their thermal regulation systems. This should destabilize the volcano even more, prolonging the eruption and diverting their attention. What is imperative is that you use Navika's time-space drive to leave this system before the Vakragher realize what has happened. You were wearing the mind cap when we made the time-space jump, which means you now intuitively know how to jump as well. Time runs short, you must go. Neither of you should worry, I will find a way out, even if I have to, but he was cut off, the rest was static. What is that it? The vortex was now open and the ground shook violently. Come on, Zahn, you heard him, and this place is about to get a whole lot warmer. Lava oozed into the room. Zahn looked back toward the cavern entrance one last time but saw no one, and together they walked through the gate. When they exited on the other side, Zahn didn't have time to feel sorry about what had happened. He carried his mother inside the ship, closed the door, and once again the inner node of the ship filled with pure, cool air. As he did this, he couldn't avoid tracking some of the reddish dust inside. Come on, Asha said. Let's take her into the command bay. I'll work on reviving her while you get us out of here. The moment he sat down, the dome above the chair lowered slightly. Was the ship already reading his thoughts? Zahn felt awkward sitting in the command chair, but he knew that was what Oonak wanted. Navika, Oonak has sacrificed himself for our safety, Navika said. I overheard the comm transmissions, and he gave me direct orders to leave while the Hataazans are still distracted by the eruption. He also ordered me to consider you as the acting captain. To their surprise, they heard new explosions around them. Zahn looked up and saw that one of the beasts had come through the gate and then another. They're coming through, Asha said. Get us out of here, Navika. With impressive speed, Navika raced out of the cavern. Zahn looked back and noticed that a few of the beasts were following them, but soon they were through the cave and back out into the sky, as they raced above the atmosphere. The cloudy sky of the stolen moon soon became the ocean of space once more. Then just as he breathed a sigh of relief, he heard a hideous voice from within his own mind. "Why do you steal what I have rightfully taken?" The voice was guttural and revolting. It was so clear that Zahn looked around him in shock, but no one was there. "You may think that you have escaped us, but there is no place we will not find you. My servants will be avenged. We consume all. We control all. We are the Vakragha." Zahn wondered what Oonak would do. He knew that no good could come from listening to the enemy. Perhaps Asha would know how to stop this voice. "If you tell your friend that we are speaking to you directly, she will be the first to die." Zahn's eyes widened. His heart was beating fast now. "Yes, we can hear your thoughts, and we will find you in the darkness. We cultivate the darkness." He braced himself for more of the vile voice, but none came. "What do you think happened to Oonak?" Asha said. Zahn almost jumped from her words. "What, Oonak? He ordered Navika and us to leave. What was I supposed to do?" Asha was quiet. She released the Jagral from its spherical shield and continued to work with Darshana, who was still unconscious. After a few minutes, Zahn noticed that Navika was leaving the nebula at a strange trajectory. "Navika, what are you doing? To remain safe, we must remain within the moon's shadow. Otherwise, the pulsar's radiation will disrupt the cloaking field." "Oh, thanks, Navika, of course." "Are you okay, Zahn?" Asha said. "I'm good, no worries, Asha. We'll be out of here in no time." "Captain, I'm detecting 6 Vakragha cruisers approaching us." "How is that possible?" Zahn said. "How is what possible?" Asha said. "I'm talking to Navika." I didn't hear him say anything. "Zahn," he heard Navika say, "I am communicating with you directly through the mind cap. No one else can hear me except you. Relaying information is much faster this way. For instance, I can highlight objects behind you, such as the cruisers that are fast approaching. To respond, simply speak within your own mind." Images of the view behind the ship somehow appeared beside his field of vision, and within the star field he saw 6 shadowed shapes, thinly outlined in green, fast approaching. "Zahn," Asha called. "Sorry, Asha, Navika was talking to me." "Navika," Zahn said through the mind cap, "isn't this a little intrusive? And how can they know where we are? I thought you said we were safe as long as there was something between us and that pulsar." "I'd hypothesized that the potent pulsar energy that we were exposed to before may have leaked into the cloaking cells, so it's possible that the field is unstable, causing the cloak to fail periodically. I recommend we use the time-space drive." "Right, wait, how do we do that?" "You know how, sort of, so I just imagine a vortex in front of the ship. Either tell me the destination or hold the picture of your destination in mind. Yes, you may begin visualizing the vortex now, but we cannot jump until we reach sufficient velocity." Behind him, Zahn could hear the time-space drive begin to roar again. "Wait, how do I reach that velocity, though? Oonak made you captain and you don't know?" "Well, I'm pretty sure that." "Incredible. He must really believe in your abilities." "All right, here's your crash course in mindcap piloting. Energy flows where attention goes. Visualize your desires and the ship will move." Zahn imagined the stars moving past, yet nothing happened. "Good, we are now moving at 5% impulse, but you'll need to do better than that, Zahn." "What are you talking about? It doesn't look like we're moving at all. The stars you can see around us are dozens or hundreds of light years distant, too far to see relative motion. However, just beyond the edge of your vision, you should see a spiral shape within a circle. When the edges of the spiral touch the circle, we have reached adequate velocity to make a jump." Zahn looked forward and realized that, somehow, he could see the indicator just beyond his vision. He wasn't sure why he didn't notice it before, but he guessed it was because he'd never looked for anything outside of his field of vision before. It was quite bizarre. As if he now had an eye on the side of his head. "Please hurry. We've been discussing this for nearly 1 second already, and the Vakragha cruisers are now within firing distance." "Only 1 second, that's right." Navika had told him that conversations went faster with the mind cap. He imagined the spiral shape expanding more and more within the small circle and felt the feeling of acceleration as he did so, even though Navika nullified all changes of inertia in the cabin. Somehow he felt acceleration as a concept now. Good work. "Vortex in 10 seconds. Wait, incoming fire." Behind him, Zahn didn't like what he saw. 6 dark, menacing shapes fired toward them, and as they fired, a small point on one of the distant moons glowed a bright orange.